Goku-san DBZ, welcome back. This is going to be a new top 5 fighters. I know it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. And there's a reason you hear this particular music in the background from Tekken 3, because today on Top 5 Fighters is the top 5 PS1 or PSX fighting games. Now with that said, let's get this list started. First, honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, and these are my own personal picks. So with that said, first honorable mention, Gundam Battle Assault 2, which is a great anime fighter. If you like good robot fighting games like from the classic 2D era, this is definitely a game I highly recommend you check out. Next honorable mention, Tekken 2, which is a lot of fun and a heck of a challenge, especially in the face against Devil. Street Fighter Alpha 3, and reason why it gets honorable mention is I feel this is the inferior version of Alpha 3. But that's just my own opinion, which is why it only gets honorable mention. Street Fighter EX2, D Strega, and X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Now for the actual top 10 list. There, and I'll be curious to see what your all's opinions are as well. As always, when I say at the end of these videos is please leave a comment, like, subscribe, but give me your opinion. What was your favorite PS1, PSX era fighting games? With that said, coming at number 5, it's definitely a well-known game, though it did have some major glitch issues when it came out. But for the most part, it was also a solid game. Many people, fans of this particular franchise, of the old school part, really love this game. And coming at number 5 is Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which is definitely very well beloved by the old school Mortal Kombat fans, because it has so much freaking content. It's kind of insane, really, to think about, given this era, how much fighting game material you actually had, given this game came out in like 96. So that says a lot right there, because this was still relatively early in the PS1's lifespan. Plus, it had a lot more characters than the N64 version. And I don't know why my camera is doing this weird color thing, so forgive me on that. Coming at number 4, this game came out in 1998. This was my introduction into this particular 3D fighter series. Unique because you could transform into half human, half beast. So obviously, it's one of the Bloody Roar games, but the game that gets number 4 spot is Bloody Roar 2, The New Breed, which is, in my personal opinion, probably about the best game in the series. Pretty much neck and neck with Bloody Roar Extreme / Primal Fury, though I prefer the Xbox version. But whatever. Coming in at number 3, easily my favorite of the Street Fighter Alpha series, and I thought the PS1 version was the best version of this game, at least during that time era. But there's a reason why it came in 3rd place, because I think overall it was very well done and didn't have that weird pausing at the beginning of a battle like the Super Nintendo version, though it had very big limitations given it was 16-bit and this was like 36-bit. That being Street Fighter Alpha 2 comes in 3rd place on the top 5, in my personal opinion. Coming in at number 2 is actually a deadlock tie between Square Enix Classic Fighter, which deserves a 3rd game, I might add. Tied at number 2 is Square's, or at that time Squaresoft's, Good Fighter Bushido Blade. Tied with another fighting game, or I guess you could say 3D sword battling game, from Namco. Tied at number 2 with obviously Bushido Blade is Soul Blade, known as Soul Edge in, of course, Asia, and would be the one that would give birth to what we would No, on the Dreamcast is the Soul Calibur franchise. But it all started with Soul Blade slash Soul Edge. But that comes in, so it's about between easily probably the top two best weapon based fighting games of that era, hands down, of the 90s. Coming in at number one, which you hear the music in the background from, which is True Ogre's theme. Obvious, number one, in my opinion, best fighting game, period, on the PS1, Tekken 3. Easily. Heck, it even ran at 60 frames per second on the PS1. And we have games today that have a hard time, that a lot of times for some reason end up slowing down like 30 frames per second stuff. And we constantly have sometimes, for some reason, major frame rate issues nowadays. Yet somehow the PS1 was able to run Tekken 3 without a problem at 60 frames per second. Which is why I dare say, graphically, Tekken 3 has not aged well, nor has really any games from that era, except for maybe the 2D fighters. But it doesn't change that the gameplay is still solid. Play the game many years later, and it still plays top notch. It can still rival current day games in battle mechanics. That's the thing. Tekken 3 was really advanced in its era, definitely when it comes to in game fighting mechanics and many other things, not to mention the soundtrack. Because let's face it, True Ogre had an awesome soundtrack, and True Ogre was a pretty cool boss. I loved always facing Ogre, True Ogre. But with that said, this has been my list, my own personal picks for top 5 best PSX slash PS1 era fighting games. Sometime in the future, I plan on working on 2 future top 5 fighter lists. Top 5 anime fighters, and top 5 Sega Dreamcast fighters. So I'll see you next time for that. Also, I have a new best to worst list getting ready to be uploaded as well. Best to worst, in my opinion, ranking the 6 Star Trek series. So I'll be curious to see your response on that video. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. As always, this is Goku-san DBZ. And see you for some awesome gameplays coming your way.